Good afternoon from Julia Carroll and my 2026 weight loss journey. Today is Sunday, March 15th, 2026. It's just about 3:45 in the afternoon. I'm not walking today because today is not a good day. My 92-year-old father passed away this morning. So I started getting phone calls at 1 o'clock and then 1:40 and then 4 o'clock when they notified me he had passed away. So I can't say it's been a good day. I have not resorted to food, although I did kind of devour a little bit of peanut butter. So, I don't have any more peanut butter, but it sure tasted good when I ate it. I did eat too much of it. It's not been the best of days. I'm tired and cranky and upset and just general malaise. It's not been the best of days. Tomorrow will be a better day. I feel okay. It's not unexpected when he's 92, having problems. His sister passed away last month. He was in the hospital in February, so it didn't come out of the blue that he was having problems. And in fact, last week my brother really thought he was going to pass. So we had come to the conclusion together that we didn't want him to go to the emergency room if there was a problem. So when the nursing home called me at 1 o'clock this morning, your father's having breathing problems. Do you want him to go to the ER? I could confidently say, no, we'd like him to stay in the home and at this point, let nature take its course. So it's finished from that standpoint. Of course, when there's death involved, you have final paperwork to do and contact Social Security and where he gets his pensions from and just finalize business, which won't be too bad. It'll be easy to do. I'm a power of attorney, so I can handle all that stuff, no problem. And it's a very surreal feeling that, my father's he's been a tough old bird for the majority of his life. He had a heart attack before my mom died 30 years ago and he prayed to stay alive, and God granted him a long time after that. God has granted him a lot of time, for which I am very thankful. My father was a great man. He was an excellent father, excellent husband. I'm thankful to have had him as a dad. I watched my brother's video earlier today, the dog walking author, where he talked about our dad. How, we always knew our dad loved us. And I would say that's true. I have no doubt about that. No doubt whatsoever that, he loved us. He was proud of us. We were his joy, his light and his joy, along with my mom. And now he has passed away. And I'm deeply grieving and deeply sad that he's gone. And I'm still in a bit of shock about it. I'm sure, slowly over time it'll sink in. On the one hand, he had gotten very bad with dementia and just not himself. And it's hard watching somebody who used to be very strong become very frail, who can't hear, who can't communicate, who can't remember. It's very difficult watching that every single day. He was in the nursing home from, must have been about last July, 2025, and till today, March 15th. So, the last 8 months of his life, definitely not the best. Certainly, he's been off not well since probably the first of the year. I will say, as much as I miss my dad, I am also kind of glad that his suffering here is over. And I'm also kind of glad I won't have to go to the nursing home anymore. Those are depressing places. And I'm sad that we had to put him in a nursing home. It's just his problems were too numerous for him to remain. He couldn't remain in his home with what was going on with him. He couldn't care for himself. And he couldn't live with me because there's just too much care. And unfortunately, he had to go into a nursing home. He was in a board and care facility from April of 2021 until he went into the nursing home in July 2025. And that was a very nice place. It was just a regular home. He just had a room in a home. So that was nice. And I highly recommend it if you can do it, although it's very expensive. We were fortunate that my dad was very much able to afford it. He burned through a lot of his savings, but, that's what it's there for. It was a nice place. And the nursing home, they try to do their best, but it's just a depressing place. The people there it's depressing. And it doesn't matter how much you try to make it not depressing, it's depressing. I found it very difficult going. And so in that sense, I'm glad that part of the commitment to my father at the end of his life is over. I will miss the dad I used to go out to dinner with. I'll miss the dad that Sundays, I don't know how many times since my mom passed away 24 years ago, that my dad and I would just go somewhere on a Sunday afternoon. Many, many, many times we would go to Starbucks. We're both big coffee drinkers. And I'd get an iced coffee. And a lot of Saturday nights, my brother and his family would invite us to their house and we'd have dinner. And I would always, I lived near my dad. My present house is, 2 minutes away from the house I grew up in. My parents bought a house over in Sacramento in 1975. I was born in 72, so I was 3 years old. And my condo is kind of around the corner, pretty much, from the house I grew up in. So my father was the only owner of that house. So, I would always just pick him up, drive to my brother's house, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and that's what we would do, and it was great. I have very fond memories. I am just ambivalent today. It's not a great day. Not a great day. So, I'm not eating, which is good. But I want to. I want to eat. Big time. And that's all emotional. I feel guilty because I wasn't as nice to him as I could have been at the end. In fact, when they were calling me at 1 o'clock this morning, I have to admit, I was feeling pretty irritated that they're calling me at 1 o'clock and 1:40. I was pretty grousy about that. Somehow it wasn't clicking that he was actually going to die tonight. I genuinely did not think he would die tonight. My brother and I had made plans to get together and go to the nursing home at 10:30 this morning to visit him. We had done that yesterday. So me, dummy self, they're calling me saying, oh, he's not breathing well. We're going to give him morphine. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. They call at 4 o'clock. Well, he's not doing well. Do you want to come visit him? And I'm thinking to myself, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. No, I don't want to visit you. It's 4 o'clock. You're not open. It's 4 o'clock. Why would I want to go anywhere at 4 o'clock? Not thinking he was about to die. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'll call my brother when we wake up and maybe we'll go there at 8 o'clock to visit. It didn't even occur to me he was going to die. And as she was talking to me at 4 o'clock this morning, she's like, "Oh, the nurse has just come out of his room and told me he just passed away. I'm very sorry." I'm like, "What? Right now?" Well, no wonder she wanted me to visit. But then she wanted to know if we wanted to see the body, and I did not want to see the body. That just seems creepy to me. Just, if he was hardly my father in the last 6-8 months, being alive and not really understanding much, not communicating well, then he certainly wouldn't have been my father dead in a bed. It would just been the shell of who he was. And nope, don't want to look at that. That's creepy. So we opted not to. We did end up going to the nursing home about 10:30 and picked up his stuff. So for right now, everything is as processed as it can be. I'm just in a state of shock is all. So I'm going to stop this for now, and I don't really have anything great to say. It's not a good day. So this is Julia Carroll and my 2026 weight loss journey update regarding my father and his passing today at 92. Take care. Bye-bye.